So, my friend, I want to ask you, have you been listening to some of my podcasts for a while and identified for yourself all the areas that you feel your business could be better in? Maybe you just are so busy you haven't yet mastered the working as much as you like bit. Or maybe you're just not bringing in the money, like you're struggling with the income, or it's just not enough. Well, it's time for us to have a conversation. In the show notes, there is a link to my evolution call. If you're a dance boss and you are ready to take action, let's have a chat and let's see where I can take you. Welcome, lovelies, to the Ultimate Dance Business Podcast. My name is Deborah Laws, the dance business expert. My passion is to help you turn your passion into profit while guiding you to work less and earn more. I'm super excited to share interviews with you that I know will inspire and motivate you in your schools, as well as my solo shows where I shall be sharing some great tips and strategies. So if you love the show, please do remember to review, subscribe, and share it with your fellow dance boss friends. So let's get stuck into the business of dance. Hello, and thank you for joining me today for this week's episode of the Ultimate Dance Business Podcast. Now, today I'm going to talk a little bit about how much it could be costing you to keep classes on your timetable that have a really low number of kids or adults signed up for them. Now, I know that this is a really tricky conversation for us to have because this is very much like heart versus head. In our hearts, we've got a few children signed up for a class, and maybe some of those love it. Maybe it's the biggest joy of their week. And we have this immense sense of loyalty of not wanting to let those kids down by maybe cancelling a class. And so we just keep it going because we feel bad for those kids, or maybe it's a class where it's much higher up in your school and there's only a few because you only have a few seniors left compared to the rest of the school. And so we keep these classes on our timetable month in, month out, term in, term out, sometimes for years, with less than enough students. And our heart feels happy because we know that we are still providing a service, keeping those students happy. And, it makes us feel good that we're not letting our students down. The head is probably saying, Deborah, you need to cancel that class. You're losing money. It doesn't make sense. It's not a good business practice to have classes that cost you money on your timetable. Most of the time, the head wins and we carry on. So today's podcast is really going to get you to look at some of those tricky classes. And so this might feel a bit uncomfortable for you guys today. So I would love you to sit down and look at the numbers in all your classes and just take a little look in terms of, well, the first thing we need to work out is what does it cost me to run that class? And I don't want you to just look at the venue and the teacher, because there really are additional costs involved. And you know that, like, it would be amazing if the only two costs that we have in our business are wages and venues. Like, you have insurance, you have music licenses, you have examination board subscriptions, you probably have, several apps and bits of software that you use to run your business. There are so many other things. Just as a rough guideline, and it might not be the same for you, but this is a rough industry guideline. Most people running a dance business are earning about 25% profit for every pound. So that means that for every £1 that a student pays you in their fees, you're getting 25 pence. So maybe look at a class and say you've got 4 children in it. And I'm going to keep the maths really simple for me because it's not my strong point. But you've got 4 children paying £5. You're bringing in £20. What we have to look at is the profit from that is really quite small. Now, is that enough for me to warrant continuing to run this class? And in fact, even if you did take all the other costs out and you just look at teacher versus and venue hire or your venue costs, you probably need about 5 or 6 students. If your venue or your teacher is really expensive, it could be even more. I've heard as many as 10 students before you even break even, before you get to the stage that it's not costing you anything. That's a lot of students. That means that it's only when you get between kind of 8 and 20 that the money is there, that's where you earn a living from that end of the attendance number of people signed up, I should say. So if you're running classes that only just break even, or they don't break even, we are in real danger here, because what happens is a few of our other classes that are making some profit then have to subsidize the classes that aren't making profit. And I know you guys know this, and I hear people say it to me all the time. I run my classes at the top of my school, my vocational classes, with only 3, sometimes even less students in them, and they're subsidized by, but it's okay, Deborah, because I've got some classes in my school that got 20 kids in, so it pans itself out. It doesn't. It honestly doesn't. Because what happens is, say you've got 5 classes that are really desperately in the red, they cost you a lot of money to put on, and then you've got 10 classes of which 5 of them break even, 5 of them make you some money. By the time you've sucked a whole bunch of profit out of the ones that do make you good money to pay off the classes that don't, we're back to everything's pretty much breaking even. And that's when you find yourself in a position where you're saying to me, I'm doing all this work, I run all these classes, I cover all my bills, I pay my teachers, I'm never left, owing money, but there's nothing left over for me. Or what's left over for me is really small, and I actually earn less than my teachers earn. Or I'm earning less than national minimum wage because there's not enough profit in my school. Potentially, this is the roadblock. This is the reason why. So if I was to say to you, there's this new business that I'm starting up over here, why don't you come and set one up the same as me? And you're going to work 15, 20, 30 hours a week, and it's going to be really great, and everyone's going to love it, but you're not going to earn any money. Do you fancy coming over and doing that with me? You'd say, absolutely not. Go do that yourself. That's absolutely ridiculous idea. But that might be what you're doing right now with your business. So the really hard bit, the really gut-wrenching bit, and I feel for you, I've been in this position so many times, is when do we have to say enough is enough? And I am so sorry for you 3 or you 2 or you 4 students, but I can no longer run your class. I am just going to pause here for a second because I just want to check that you know all about my new software, Dance Business Solutions. And if you don't, then I would love to show it to you. You can book a demo where I will show you around the magic that I have created in Dance Business Solutions, and you can see just what it will do for your business. So from websites to selling events to managing your customers, managing your inquiries, creating surveys, planning your social media, like it does a gazillion things. And they're all very exciting because I have pre-built most of it for you already using my wisdom and expertise as a dance business coach. So go to dancebusinesssolutions.com as soon as you've finished listening to my podcast and click on book a demo. And I cannot wait for one of my team to show you around. Because in running your class, I'm actually now working for free. I'm actually earning nothing from my business. I guarantee you that those students will do one of the next few things. They're either going to go, do you know what? That's okay, because we've wanted to start brownies for a while and now we can if she doesn't dance anymore. So we'll go and do that instead. Or they're going to go to another dance school. And if that happens, it might have to happen. Or they're going to say, okay, what else do you have? What else can you offer us? She loves her ballet class, but she's also quite interested in your commercial class, but we couldn't afford for her to do both. So she always stuck with ballet. But if she can't do ballet anymore, we'll go try commercial. So I did this recently with somebody who had 2 or 3 classes, all on the same evening, in fact, back to back, that were all in the red. They were all only had 4 or 5 or 3 in each of her classes. She went and had conversations with every single one of those parents. And all but, I think, one student, she managed to relocate them into other classes. And she actually ended up, can you believe, now being able to take a whole night off. She ended up earning the same amount of money and having a night off. And in fact, she was earning more money because she was no longer paying out for the studio hire that she was paying for her venue hire. So what a crazy situation. She earned more money, she had a night off, and her students were still all in the school, bar one. And that's just because I kind of gently / forced her to just really look at it seriously from a logical business head kind of point of view, to take the heart out of it. And when I sat her down and I just said, look, seriously, honestly, for the sake of that one child, or maybe 4 or 5 children, do you really not want to have that night off? Do you really want to earn a lot less money? Do you really want to be working for nothing? And she was like, yeah, you're absolutely right, Deborah. This is bonkers. This is silly. I don't know why I've been doing this for all this time. I just needed somebody to really gently poke me and kind of make me look at the reality of it, I suppose. And so this is what I would love you to do today. I want you to look at those classes that are well below what they should be in terms of, earning you money and meaning that you're not putting your heart and soul out there for hours in the studio for nothing. And I just want you to think, are there other classes that potentially these students could do? How many am I likely to lose? If you've got a whole bunch of kids that only do one class and there's only a few of them anyway, you're not going to lose a huge amount. If you have got 3 kids in a class that then do 10 other classes, and if you take this class away, they'll leave all the other 10 classes and go to another school, that's a different matter. I mean, we need to be sensible. We need to look at the whole big picture. And in which case, obviously, I wouldn't be necessarily suggesting that you cancel it. I might be suggesting that you charge a bit more for that class because it's more like a private joint lesson. But I want you to really think about, logistically taking the heart out. What classes should I really be removing from my timetable? And it's a tough one. I know it's a tough one, but it's sometimes necessary to make tough decisions in business. But, at the same time, you are the leader of your own ship. You're the captain of your own ship. You are in charge of your destiny. If you actually don't mind teaching these classes for free, earning less money from other classes, because it lights up your world, you're absolutely passionate, and these kids, do all these other classes, then you might have to keep these classes on the timetable. It's just, I'd love you to sit down today and look logically and sensibly around this scenario. And maybe today has been the little gentle Deborah's pokey stick that you needed to make a few little decisions. All right, my loves, I hope this works out for you. I hope it means that you're going to earn more money, work less, and still manage to keep your students. The last thing I would leave with you, and I like to leave on a positive note, but this perhaps isn't a very positive note either, is we treat our students and think about our students as if they're our family, as if they're our own flesh and blood. But I really need you to just for 1 minute step aside again, maybe a little bit more outside of the heart and the emotions, and see your students are customers or clients. They are people that buy your services. And at any stage, they will drop you like that. They will decide We don't want that service anymore. We don't want that thing we've been buying for all this time. We're going to go and buy something different. We're going to go and start something different. We're going to put the money into family holidays instead. They are not going to sit there and think, oh, but what about Deborah? Like, she's been teaching us for all this time and she's been doing this class and not been earning any money. And like, we have a loyalty to her, so we better stay. We better stay forever. Like, they just don't. You are a service. You deliver a wonderful, beautiful service that they love and adore whilst they want it. But the minute they don't want it anymore, they are gone tomorrow. And I know that's really hard to hear, but we know, I mean, you know deep down what I'm talking about, right? And so if you are keeping classes on your timetable because you're feeling this love and attachment to your students like they're your own flesh and blood, I'm really sorry if this stings a bit, but they don't feel the same towards us. They really don't. And maybe the odd one does. Maybe the odd one views you like family. Maybe the odd one will stay with you for years, even though they perhaps want to go somewhere else or they want to stop. But I don't think they probably do. Parents and students make decisions that are right for them, not what is right for us. And you, my darling, need to start doing the same. You need to make decisions that are right for you and your business and not necessarily what's right for them. Okay, I need to come up with a nice positive end to this podcast, don't I? Well, just think of the additional money and time we'll have. And here we go. I've thought about it for a spin for you. So we can finish with some positivity. Think of the additional classes you could put on your timetable if you've now freed up this time. You know, maybe you've got some really successful acro classes and you haven't got enough time in your timetable to be able to put more classes on and you've got wait lists. Now we've freed up the time. Now we potentially have found space for those classes. So there we go. That's my positive spin I'm going to end on. I'd love to know if you have any challenges around this. If you agree, disagree, do pop questions into the Dance Business Lab community. That's my Facebook group, my free Facebook group for anyone that is a dance studio owner. Don't really do Instagram quite so much. So come find me on Facebook, Dance Business Lab community, and pop in your thoughts in there. Say, I've just listened to your podcast, Deborah, and I've got this scenario, and I'm happy to kind of have a conversation with you in there. I'm happy to go back and forth and give you some further guidance if you've got a specific thing for you that you'd love to ask. Okay, my darlings, I hope that's been helpful today. I hope you make some sensible, grounded business decisions, and I will see you all really soon for the next episode of the Alternate Dance Business Podcast. Take care. So I wanted to tell you that this episode is kindly sponsored by Sally at Dance Studio Marketing, who is your go-to solution for growing your dance school through the power of social media. So if you're feeling overwhelmed at trying to attract new students, at Dance Studio Marketing, Sally helps dance studio owners just like you to leverage the power of social media and paid ads to bring in a steady stream of students, which of course helps you to achieve more balance in your life. So if you're ready to grow with less stress, visit sallyprendergast.com, or you can connect with Sally at Dance Studio Marketing on your favorite social media platform today. My clients are getting fabulous results using Sally. So let's get those ads going and let's get your school growing.